All right, what's going on there, everybody? Welcome to Dysfunctional Family. We are back. Now, TKAT and Salad and Spike will be here momentarily, hopefully soon. But I got a wonderful couple guys here to start out with. We got St. Cali Vapor.
What's happening?
And we got Roberto.
Donut. Yep.
So as always, start of the shows, we say what we are vaping on and what we are possibly drinking. So, St. Cali, you go first, bud.
Oh shit. All right, so we got a Wraith with the Centurion on it, and I got some of that Sad Boy butter cookie in that one. We're also using the RSQ mini Splonk with the Elder Dragon. I've got the Standard, which is it's a lemonade. What else? We've got the Pryani Team Box with the stripe on it, and there's some Shamrock Cookie from Sad. I'm doing a lot of Sad Boy recently. I don't know why. And I've got the Detonator with that little that Shogun, that Vapor's Cloud Shogun I just picked up, and I've got some Army Man in that, and then the top side with the Profile, because that's the standard of what I carry. And there's some more of that lemonade in that, and then I'm testing out this Doom mesh RTA sitting on top of the Cartel with that's actually going to be the keyline cookie from Sad Boy. So there we go. Robert?
Okay, I've got the smoked deep crisp baby with the drop on there. In that, I have some Gorilla Custard Strawberry, and then I also have the Unimax 22 with some Dem Gremlins Greta Nick salts in them. And then I also have the Smoke Stick V8 with some Victory tobacco.
Very, very nice. I am rocking the Lacimo F4 with the 28mm stripe on top. Vaping on an old style juice, one of the juices that I actually started vaping on when I started vaping. And that is Possum Trot's Yellowberry Road, which is like a blueberry lemonade kind of deal. Not too sweet, not too tart, just right. Rocking some Vaporhawks Anonymous Aliens in the Strife, which, by the way, if you go to Island Vapes Distribution, Vaporhawks Anonymous, and use coupon code MonsterMan, you get 20% off. So, you all probably know the title. It's hot. Yeah, it's hot.
We were just talking, North Carolina is under a heat advisory until Monday night at 6 p.m. So they've issued an excessive heat advisory.
Probably going to piss off a lot of people, me saying this, but I hate summer.
Oh, I do too.
And you would think, me being a motorcycle rider, that I would love summer, but I don't. It's way too fucking hot. You want to know why? Because on a bright, sunny summer day, when here in the Midwest, it can reach upwards of 100, you're on your motorcycle. It ain't that bad when you're moving because you get that wind. But then once you stop, that's when you start to bake.
But you do not know hot, my friend, until you spend the summers in Puerto Rico with your grandparents. That gets hot. If Batman's in the chat, he can attest to that. It gets hot down there.
So real quick, let me pull up chat here and let's see who's all watching currently. So So we got Nate the Vaping Rider in chat. What is up there, buddy? We got Kimmy Vapes in chat. How you doing, darling? That's right, Kimmy. I did change my background a little more professional now looking, with the sound dampening foam, Got kind of tired of, I tried to iron out that one backdrop I had that had like the moon and that foggy road. I tried to iron it out, but those creases would not come out to save my life. I put the iron, I put a towel down, and I tried to smooth it out as best I could. I probably went over it like 8 to 10 times, and it just would not, the creases just would not go away. So I'm like, fuck it, getting some noise dampening foam, look more professional that way. All I need to work on now is the lighting, which I will be doing that next weekend. We got Vaping Joe M. What's up, brother? Rob Wiggles, what is up? So, it feels good to be back, though. It feels really good to be back on YouTube, doing this show, having all you great people here on the panel. Being off for 2 weeks, though the vacation was nice. It was nice to be off and just relax for a little bit. I still missed it because I love doing videos. I love going live and talking with everybody in the chats and people who I have on this panel. So let's just say that I was looking really forward to today.
Well, welcome back after a hiatus. Hopefully you're refreshed and you have a myriad of products waiting for you to just destroy.
I do. I got a bunch of products right now sitting to be reviewed. However, I want to make a valid point. I want to make a statement here. So we all know Voopoo. We know their latest mod, the X217, which I believe is their latest. Yep. If not the latest, one of the last couple to be released. So I've been rocking this one, which has the black-gray swirled resin on the button and on the back. So right as I was getting everything ready to get all this stuff ready to go live, I put the batteries I had in here were about 3/4 charged, so they still had some decent life in them. And I was putting the Mitch Green Aliens into the Strife, and probably got 1 or 2 pulses in for dry burning, and all of a sudden it just stopped firing. I thought, okay, maybe there's a short. So I go to look at the screen and hit the button to check, and the screen just stayed completely black. The mod just died. Not the batteries are fine. The mod just said fuck you and crapped out. So
wow.
And this is one of the products I'm going to be reviewing, so Voopoo, not looking good for you now. I had 2,500 puffs on this son of a bitch, and it was working. It was working flawlessly. It was hitting hard. Had great. Voopoo, I got some words to say in the review.
You're not the first person to have issues with that. I know that. I think both Willow and Truck and Vapes both have issues with battery doors. They're not shutting correctly. And
well, yeah, and because I checked mine and hell, I got another one that has the batteries in it. Seems to be. I guess I'm just the lucky one that has good battery doors.
Yeah. Good doors, bad board.
But man, though, summertime. I'm a winter man. I love fall and I love winter. Believe it or not, being a rider, I mostly ride in the fall because it's cooler, and I'm a bigger guy. I have more heft, and so I retain heat more than most people.
That's a good way of putting it. More heft.
For the record, folks, I'm not fat. I'm fluffy.
Right. I have a friend of mine that rides all the time in the summer too. He was saying the last couple of weeks it's just been hot riding too. He said the wind's hot.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Well.
And I wear a full face helmet. I don't wear the brain bucket because I've tried and it just doesn't feel comfortable to me. I don't like feeling that big old strap pulling all this.
Mm-hmm.
I like the full face, right? Just get that little strap right underneath the jaw here, just to keep it on my head, and it's more comfortable. And that in the summer heat is just so unbearable because it feels like your head is in an oven at that point.
Right.
It's also nice not to get June bugs to the forehead too. That shit hurts. Especially going 70 on a motorcycle and you get a June bug right there. Oh, it hurts.
I don't know how big they get where you're at, Matt, but here they're pretty hefty. Like when I first moved to California, I'd never dealt with these things, and they buzz you. I'm like, what is going on with the birds? And they're like, oh, that's a bug. I'm like, that is not a bug.
I feel like somebody shot you in the throat.
Yeah, it's way too damn big to be a bug.
It's like you're going to Africa and you look at your tour guide like, what's that big thing on that bus stop? It's just a mosquito. No, I mean that big thing crawling all over it. It's a mosquito. Shit. Now I see why when you go to Africa, they always send you a letter saying, make sure you take the necessary shots. Kelly Kel, what's up, girl?
Hey, Kelly.
Rob Wiggles, I sweating out the shower.
Yeah, this time of year for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the shower. You feel like you need to take another shower. Love it.
I can't see myself going anywhere like Florida, and it's not because of the heat. It's because of the humidity. I don't like humid weather, which
It gets humid down there. It gets humid here too.
it's like what Jeff Dunham with Walter said one time. In Florida, you'll take a shower on Monday, Friday, you're still not dry.
Mm-hmm. It's like when you go to places like Egypt. It's they've got a heat, but it's not a humid heat. It's uncomfortable, but you can still breathe. Other places it's the same way. Arizona, they really don't have a very humid climate. It's just dry, and so the heat there is a little bit more bearable. But when you get to like places like North Carolina, Florida, South Carolina, where it's so humid, it's like you have a hard time breathing. Like the other day, I went outside to cut the grass, got everything going, and then when I put the mask on, I could hardly breathe. So I was like, "Oh, fuck this! I ain't doing this." Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and the thing is, here in the Midwest, last night, it was unbearably hot where I work, and I work in a big metal box, and the only thing I have for ventilation is about a 3.5 foot wide fan above my workstation. Now, granted, they did move it in a better spot for me to get better airflow throughout my entire workstation, so it's not as bad. But when you have a little thermometer, I put a little analog thermometer on my stock rack, and the fact that the outside temp was reading about, my weather app was saying about 98, but the thermometer in there was ringing about 102. Sometimes it would go up to 110.
Well, that's the thing. The news stations and the weather channels, they have this thing where it has what the weather actually is and then what it feels like. And it's like, yeah, it's supposed to be 98, but it's going to feel like 108. No, it's 108.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, you watch like Fox 4 or KCTV 5. And it's like, the weather's the temperature's going to be 98, but here's what it's going to feel like. I'm like, just put the real feel on the son of a bitch.
Right.
Like, if it's going to be 98 and it's going to feel like 108, don't say 98. Just say 108, because Jesus Christ, at that point, air temp don't count.
No.
I made a joke
But even in Europe, places like France and places like Italy that are not used to this type of heat, they're getting it pretty bad too.
Oh yeah.
There are people that have died out there because they don't use air conditioners because it doesn't get that hot usually. You don't have that much of a heat problem.
Yeah. Let's just say this: when you work in a place like a warehouse or a factory or somewhere that's like anywhere that's basically a big metal box like where I work.
Oh yeah.
You can't drink enough water to stay hydrated because at that point your body becomes a furnace. Whatever water you take in, it won't reach your stomach because it'll evaporate by the time it gets down there.
Mm-hmm. Well, think about the people that work in the automobile factories and stuff like that. Jesus Christ.
Yep, that's me.
Oh, that's you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's. Which I'm really surprised they don't have like the giant evaporative coolers and stuff that we usually see at factories and warehouses. I don't know at 105 it's going to help, but I mean it's going to be blowing something.
But also, it's probably because of the fact of how big the factory is.
Yeah.
I think the issue is I believe it's not the cost that's going. I don't think it's the cost that's affecting it. I think it's more of it's probably not feasible, or it can't just be done. It has to be actually planned or actually thought through in order to actually make. But I mean, it's survivable. I mean, hell, I'm still breathing.
Well, it's like me. I work in a lot of server rooms, and one good thing about those places, they're always cool. so you don't have to worry about the heat that much.
So, how's y'all Saturdays going?
Pretty good so far.
It kind of disappeared. I don't know what happened to it. It's like, it's like anything else. That work week seems to take forever, and then Saturday hits, and boom, it's gone. But anyway,
So how's everybody in chat doing though?
What's everybody in chat vaping on?
Very true. I forgot to ask that. I've been out of the game for a while. My bad. I need a refresher. And we got the Salad on the panel. What's going on there, Salad?
Greetings and salutations, y'all.
What's going on, Dallas?
Oh.
Don't.
Tag, please.
You didn't know Roberto, so we're just letting you know.
No. Hence why I clarified.
So, Salad, what are you vaping on, sir?
12 Monkeys Harambe with the dual pulse on the profile RDA.
Very, very nice. I was going to ask you something, but never mind. I thought for a second there you were having an issue with that Pulse Dual.
It was briefly, and it was a simple magnet issue. It got dropped on vacation and dislodged one of the magnets.
Okay. Because I remember one night when you and I went out on break at work, you had the squonk portion disassembled.
I was refilling it.
Oh, you had to take that much out of it just to refill the bottle.
Plate, bottle, and then I gotta unscrew the top here to fill it.
You see, that's why I want to try out squonking, but the fact of having to do that just to refill the bottle is tedious. Yeah. To me it does. It just seems tedious.
Me too.
Yes and no. If you think about it, how often do you pop open the cap of your bottle just to drip?
That's a very good question.
Pay attention, because this reservoir I think is a 7 milliliter versus dropping 1, maybe 2, depending on the RDA, every time you have to squeeze into it. It averages out. I mean, if you start out with a well dripped atomizer, you're looking 9 milliliters with one open. As TKATs trying to contact me.
so I mean, you could fix that inconvenience by using like the topside dual, because you like higher wattages, so obviously you need someone a little bit bigger, a little bit beefier. So I mean, that would fix it.
The goat let me borrow this. See if I can get a good camera angle with
the
I can't think
BTFC.
of it.
That's nice, yeah.
I have to build on it before I can use it.
The BTFC is a good RDA. I love it how it has like a 9 millimeter deep juice well. Cause I'm a blabber. That's what I call them. People that take their ball juice and go just straight down the cap.
I've done that on multiple devices, RDAs.
But we got Nate the Vaping Rider now on the panel. Nate, how you doing, brother?
Nate, how you doing?
Pretty good. Of course, as soon as I come in here, then Jody or my girlfriend decided to leave my parents with my son, so I'm gonna have to get off and bring groceries in like 5 minutes.
But tell us what you're vaping on there, buddy. I already know what you're vaping on, but chat don't know, so let everybody know what you're vaping on.
I'm vaping on the type that Monster gave me with the Valhalla 38 millimeter on top. It is in as far as these old coils go, because I haven't rebuilt any yet. They are 9 wraps of 4 millimeter inner diameter of this. Yeah, this one Tufu or N80 4 whatever plug for.
The
And I have no idea what I have in there. I think I will be. Oh, I don't know what's in it right now. 'Cause I haven't made. It's been sitting over here for like 3 days without using it. But I still juiced up. And then I will be using Bad Drips. Got nectar in that. And then I also got my bag with my B12 Prince, which has. It's not in here. I have no idea what. Or it has your my Sweet Dragon in it.
So really, which I'm excited to get my Valhalla in the mail. That comes in Monday. Which I gotta give a shout out to the man who's been making my thumbnails here lately, Gone Vape Ray. He's been doing my thumbnails for my reviews, and I just gotta say he does a hell of a job, and I like to thank him for the help that he's given me. Also, he made me an intro, which I'm be excited to use. So we got some more people in chat. We got Des Turner, what is up? J Money, how you doing? TKATs in chat, what's up TKAT? Hopefully you can get on here soon. And Kimmy is back in chat. What's she saying? Oh, a new face on the panel. Never seen him before. Yes, Kimmy. On my screen, he's down below me. So that is Nate the Vaping Rider. He's the new guy.
Well, speaking of which, I'm pretty sure I just heard the old lady, so I will be back here in a little bit.
All right, man. All right, so where were we? Oh yeah, summertime with the heat.
Yeah.
For anybody that has never rode a motorcycle, just imagine that black leather seats baking in 100-some degree heat with the sun beating down on it for about half an hour. And then sit your ass right there on that seat.
Well, yeah.
If you ain't careful, you're going to be smelling ham in about 5 minutes.
Do you ride Sun Cali?
No, I don't actually.
You know? Okay.
I'm the. I guess I'm the one that is the odd duck here.
Well, some people like motorcycles, some people don't. It just,
Yeah.
No, it's not a. It's more of a. You know, as I was a teenager and trying to talk my parents into it, the answer was hell no. And then I got married, and the answer was hell no. And then I had a couple girlfriends, and the answer was hell no. So evidently, I'm not partnered up with the right people.
You also live in California, right?
Yeah.
See, who would want to ride out there? I wouldn't.
It's actually pretty big.
Oh, it is? Last time I was out in California, traffic sucked.
It's actually, yeah, it does. And it's actually better if you're on a bike because lane splitting's always been okay, but they finally legalized it, so you can legally lane split and do all that. They're getting more friendly to bike. I mean, where I live, the low gets to maybe, if it's a bad winter, it'll get below freezing a few times, but other than that, it's, in the high 30s and 40s. And
you see,
105.
I'm on the fence about lane splitting. I mean, I know there's benefits to it. Because when you're between cars, you're kind of safer from another car hitting you.
Right.
But at the same time, like, there are people out there that if you're lane splitting, they'll open the door on you. And you run right into the door.
Right.
I actually got a buddy out there in California that someone did that to him, and he said it hurts. You're going 25, 30 mile an hour between cars, and someone just decides to be a dick and open the door on you. Yeah, ouch.
Yeah.
So there are benefits, but then there are also some really bad risks.
Right.
You basically take away one risk and add in another kind of thing. We got Robert. I can never pronounce your name, Robert, but how you doing, brother? I'm going to call you Robert R.
All right, buddy. There you go. Say hi. Always my partner in crime.
No.
Lost her.
Just that look he gives you.
Yeah, dude. he was just, yeah, he's one of those. Yeah, he was just Jody just got home, so he was in the car taking a nap. Like, I heard I want daddy. You can't have that. You can have that, one of those here in about 17, almost in like 16 years, if you so choose.
I will say I'm one of the guys that believes that if you haven't ever smoked, don't start vaping.
Exactly.
Well, tell him no. Tell him no. Your uncle said no.
Those are mine. You can't have them.
Hey, don't worry, pretty soon I'll be taking that little tyke to NASCAR races.
Stop. No one wants to hear that negativity.
Yeah. She's already mad because I started looking at more cars for me to build so I can build my drag car. What do you want? You won't. No, he's flying behind me because he's a monkey.
St. Kelly, I know you're a dad. You probably remember those days, don't you?
Yeah, they were a long time ago because my
All right, buddy.
child's 17.
All right, I have the press print grocery. I'll be back again.
So those days are long gone, and
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh crap, I'm in trouble.
me too. Unfortunately.
Me, I don't have a kid yet, but
Now I only get acknowledged when they want money. They want something. That's when I get acknowledged now. Otherwise, it's mom. But when they need something, then it's dad.
it's like what Gabriel Iglesias said about his stepson Frankie.
Mm-hmm.
He'll holler out like, "Frankie, did you take out the trash?" He'll get a text, "Cling." No. But then Gabriel can say, "I got money for you, Houdini." Well, hello.
Yeah, I absolutely love the. We're basically in the same house in two different rooms, and I get a text message from her. I'm like, it's 25 feet walk. What is wrong with you? I don't know. Kids are much different than when I was a kid. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm quite a bit older than Monster, but if I had tried to text my dad when we were in the same house, I think he probably would have taken the phone away and beat me with it.
Right.
If they're in the other room, they want to text you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh hell, I was at a cousin's house. What was it like? Sometime it was like last year for Easter, and we are all in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
It's me, my folks, my cousin, his wife, and his kid. His kid texted him, and they were sitting about 5 feet from each other.
That's
Well,
all
some
right.
people think this is cruel of me, but what I do is I block their phones from the Wi-Fi. They can't get on the Wi-Fi. And they get so mad at me for that. Dad, cut on the Wi-Fi. No. I'm not going to. There's a purpose behind that. So you actually have to come talk to me face to face.
You gotta teach them somehow,
Yeah.
right? You gotta teach them social
Exactly.
skills.
Now, when their computers, their tablets that they use for school and stuff like that, I don't bother with that. But their cell phones, I block them.
Now, me being a young buck, being a part of the millennial generation, I guess.
You would call me a dickhead, I know.
Believe it or not, I don't use my phone for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watch YouTube on it. I listen to music on it. But I actually would prefer a phone call over a text. Because you can get a text from a friend, and if they word it wrong, you don't know what they're actually trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Like a friend's freaking out, you don't really know if they're freaking out. It's when you get that phone call and they're screaming at you, it's like, okay, something's fucked up.
Right. You don't know the urgency, and then also, like, if you say something that you think is funny and they don't take it as funny, it's because they didn't hear your voice when you actually said it.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Oh, that's screwed up." But
You have to almost guess what they're feeling, and a lot of
Right.
times you misinterpret the feeling.
right.
Yeah, context is key. Yeah, I'm trying to
Exactly.
understand the how it was meant, and it's the same thing with email. I mean, we send out a ton of emails for work, and sometimes you just don't know the context and how something's said, so it's very easy to misunderstand what was going on with that.
Mm-hmm. I see that. So how old are you, Monster Man?
I'm 24. I'm gonna be 25 in March.
Oh shoot, you're gonna have plenty of time.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm enjoying. I'm taking advice.
Enjoy. Yeah, and
You,
I was about to say that. Enjoy the years that you're childless, because when you start having children, you're gonna start to realize your age real quick. You're gonna always be broke, and then you know you never thought about killing somebody that bad until you have children.
oh, trust me, my dad has thought that many times. I was a demon child. He knew something was He knew something was up because by the age of 1,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to pick up a gallon of milk by myself and actually pick it up and hand it to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's there going, okay, this boy's gonna be fucked up when he gets older. He's gonna be big and fucked up. You know, it's sad when your dad's 5'7" and by the age of 9 you're eye to eye with him.
Oh yeah.
Of course, my dad will tell you, no matter how, he always tells me, no matter how big you think you are, I can still whip your ass.
Yeah, it's like my ex told me. She was like, "You're kind of short. I'm short. Where the hell does he get this height from?" I was like, "Well, you have to remember." I told her, "You have to remember my grandfather was 6'9". Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. My dad's 5'7", my mom's 5'4", but I'm 6'5". But my great grandpas on my dad's side, one was 6'4", one was 6'7".
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same here. Both my parents were 5'5" and 5'7", and they thought my brother was going to be the big one because he shot up to about 5'10", but then just kind of stopped. And I just kept going. I mean, I'm not as big as Matt. Obviously, I'm only 6'2". But then the argument came with whose kid are you? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a nice one to have.
But then I heard the story of my mom meeting Andre the Giant, and now I have questions.
For the Big Show.
Oh my! I remember when I was young, when I was a little bit younger, a few years ago, I actually shaved my head almost completely bald. That was just the style I was going for at the time, and I had my goatee. People thought I was the son of the Big Show because that's just how big I was.
Wow.
And sometimes I'll play it off, and if I go to a friend's house, I walked in and I would play the Big Show's theme tune while walking through the front door.
And do the whole pose.
Shockingly enough, though, for me being I was always the big kid in school. Everybody else was like midgets compared to me. But I never bullied anybody, never threatened anybody with my size, never did. I was always that gentle giant.
Right.
But for some reason, those little kids, some of those little kids had the cojones already. Their balls must have dropped at an early age because a lot of them got gutsy and wanted to push my butt to see how far they could take me.
It's one of those things where, being the biggest guy in the room sometimes it draws too much attention. It's almost not worth it.
Right.
Because I had buddies like that were the biggest guy in the room, and then next thing you know you're in a bar fight, just because some guy who was 5'2" decided, watch this, hold my beer and watch this.
Right, and that happened to me once. It was like a few months after I turned 21. I was just at a bar having a couple beers with a buddy, and we're just kind of chilling and watching the football game that they had on the TV screen above us, and we're just kind of sitting there watching and cracking jokes at each other. Next thing I know, this guy behind me, who probably was about, like you said, 5'2", 5'3", wanted to pick a fight with me. It's like, dude, I'm just trying to sit here enjoying a beer with a buddy. Can you buzz off?
Yeah.
Yeah. The small ones, though, you have to watch out for a lot of times, too. I have a friend of mine, he's pretty short. He's like 5'2". Man, he will whoop your butt quicker than anybody else I know.
And that's the thing. That's the one thing small guys have over the big guys. They have the speed. The big guy may have the power, but the little guy has the speed.
Right.
It's like in the world of pro wrestling, when it comes to the high flyers like Rey Mysterio, you gotta keep those little sons of bitches grounded to have any chance. I saw a bar fight one time, and this little guy, probably about the size of Rey Mysterio, actually jumped up onto the bar and like swan dived on top of the guy.
Oh, jeez.
Of course, luckily I was not involved. So I was sitting there enjoying the show. I looked right at the bartender. I said, "You might as well give me like 5 more beers because this is going to take a minute."
Yeah.
The shit that happens in this world today is insane.
It is insane.
Kathy, how are you, sweetheart?
Oh, Kathy's in chat? What's up, Kathy? But yeah, today's world.
The world's gone crazy. It's a crazy place.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you, okay, the one thing that the other day, I was just on Facebook. Even though I'm not a big social media guy, I do run through Facebook to see how everybody's doing that I'm friends with on Facebook. So like you, Callie, Kimmy, just to see how you all are doing.
Right.
And I saw a buddy of mine post a video of this vegan. Like, I guess he was arguing about us carnivores. Why do you feed your food my food? And so I just put in the comments, it makes our food taste better.
It's healthier for us.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, I don't judge people by any sense of the word. If you're a good person, you're a good person. You treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect. It's plain and simple.
Exactly.
And I got friends who are, vegan, and it's like if that's your lifestyle, you live your lifestyle. Just don't try to enforce it on me.
Yep.
Like just before we went live, I had myself a nice big piece of prime rib. But it's just funny seeing some of these vegan people, the hardcore vegans that try to enforce their lifestyles on people.
Oh yeah.
That try to enforce the lifestyle on people. They'll be like, oh, but the cow farms are producing methane gas and affecting the ozone. What are you meat eaters doing to help the environment? And my response is this: I'm eating the cows. You're welcome.
Population control. We don't want we don't want the cows to overrun human beings, do we?
Nope.
Exactly. Population control.
Oh Lord, that's funny.
No, dude, but yeah, the world is going to be a crazy place. Everybody on the left is upset because they think the right are racist. Everybody on the right's upset because they're being called racist, which is crazy.
Yeah, I think we're to the point to where I need my own island. That's what I need.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Island for sale for cheap.
I need somebody to just build me the Enterprise so I can just go. Let me go.
Exactly. Like a desert island or like your own space station. Like, peace, bitches,
Right.
I'm out of here.
Okay.
On a deserted island, just have like a big old this big old electrical fences around the shoreline.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you do need one gate just so you can take the boat out to go fishing. They come back into the dock and just close the gate.
That would be the life.
Oh,
Unfortunately, not happen that way. So what do you guys think about this FDA thing? The 10-month.
I've only
timetable.
heard pieces of it, so I don't understand the story fully. I think someone that can actually answer that would either be St. Cali, you, or possibly Kimmy.
So basically, what happened was a bunch of NGOs, non-governmental organizations, sued the FDA over the FDA's basically pushing the requirement for PMTA farther out. The judge, whose name is Judge Grimm, which is ironic to all kinds of levels, agreed with it. Basically said, okay, it can't be that far out. You need to come back with a plan. So the plan is 10 months. So within 10 months, all PMTAs have to be not only submitted but accepted for retailers, manufacturers to continue selling tobacco-related products in the U.S. So that's mods, that's juice, that's atomizers, that's coils, that's basically anything that causes this to work. So there's part that falls under the e-liquid, and then there's part that falls under the ENDS, which is the electronic nicotine delivery systems. So that's where we're at. So that's why everyone's like, it's the 10-month death clock countdown, because nobody sees anyone actually submitting a PMTA, because these companies have had years and years and years to submit these PMTAs, and they just never have. Even those that actually have the money.
Because then one application like $1 million.
It's not the application. The application is actually free. It's the science and the studies that go behind proving that your product meets the requirements under tobacco. So, and obviously that's how IQOS got passed. They went and they submitted their PMTA, and they've got a ton of money behind them. So they were able to get all the studies done and basically get however many pages it was. It was huge. The PMTA application for the IQS was a lot of pages. But, yeah. So that's the point of the FDA. If I got that wrong, Roberto, go ahead and.
No, you got it right. But I don't think it's going to be the death bell of vaping like some people are making it out to be. Because Big Tobacco, Imperial, British American, R.J. Reynolds, all these guys probably already got their applications, everything all in the works. So it's these smaller juice companies that are going to have a problem with it. You know what I mean? And smaller mod companies like Stan, Tenacious TX, and those guys that, the individuals that produce devices are going to have an issue with it, because I'm assuming they have to file a PMTA as well.
Well, yeah. So for Stan, he doesn't actually make the Dreamer. That's TimesVape. It's going to be getting these companies that aren't, and I don't know if TimesVape is US based or not, but the companies that aren't US based. So everybody that loves their smoke and their Wismec and their Vupus and their Vaporessos, it's going to be getting them to actually submit their PMTAs, which these Chinese companies, even though the US is their biggest market, they're really going to weigh the cost benefit to submitting to these more than likely. If, from a business standpoint, I would. Whereas it's not required in the UK, so I can just go sell my products over there. Like that. And obviously the UK is way more, from a governmental standpoint, way more behind vaping than the US is by all kinds of
Right. Now, let me ask something for the juice lines. Is it one application per line, or do they have to do it for every flavor?
I don't know. From what I understand is there's an equivalence caveat to a lot of what you have to submit under the PMTAs. So I think they have to submit it at different strengths, so 3, 6, 9, 12, so on and so on. I don't know if they have to do it for every flavoring. They might.
I kind of heard half and half. I've heard half people say a line, but then I heard half say per flavor.
Right. So, and then the rest of them would be able to try to basically jump on through the equivalents, through the SE.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are worried that this is the death clock, and I part of me is saying it's not, but the other part of me is saying, but there's that chance it could be.
I don't think it will be. Like I said, I think it's going to change the landscape a lot. It really is.
Oh yeah, it definitely will.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of things that we as vapors take for granted today, like the ability to just with mech mods, building, and things like that, we're going to start having. We're the types that are going to be affected a lot more than those who use regulated devices. You know what I mean? And pod systems and.
I mean,
That's
if they get rid of pod systems and all-in-one kits, if that is what's, let's just say if after this is all said and done, it's only it's pod systems that go away, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
But that's me coming from a guy who does not vape pods all the time.
Right.
So the way that the FDA looks at substantial equivalence is a substantial, and this is coming straight from the FDA, is a substantially equivalent tobacco product is one that has been found by the FDA to have either the same characteristics as a predicate product or has different characteristics than the predicate tobacco product, but the substantial equivalence report submitted by the manufacturer demonstrates that the new product does not raise different questions of public health. So, however they're going to apply that to e-juice remains to be seen. Or box mods, or atomizers, or coils, or all the rest of the stuff.
And a lot of this stuff can be. A lot of this could have, but stumbling my own words here. I apologize. But like us hearing about the people that have devices blow up on them and all that stuff. Unfortunately, and we all know the truth about it. It all came down to user error. Somebody either putting a sub-ohm tank on a hybrid mech mod, which you don't do, or building too low of a build than the battery can handle. Like if you got say you have the a 21700 mech that has a 30 amp 21700 in it, but your build is pulling out 40 amps. I mean, granted, 99 times out of 100 it does not blow up on you, but all it takes is that one time.
Right.
And that's why I don't use mechs, because most of my vaping style requires more than 30 amps.
Right. But I do think that mechs are in trouble. I mean, I think one of the things that are in major trouble of disappearing or going away. Because people do want that safety. They do want, even though this thing right here has just as much chance of blowing up in your pocket as a mech mod does, because I don't know if you guys remember this, a couple years ago, cell phones were catching fire in people's pockets too.
I read one article a couple years ago. A 17-year-old girl had her phone under her pillow on the charger, and it exploded underneath her pillow.
Yeah.
So I mean, mechs are no different than anything else you do in life. I mean, there's a level of risk for everything that we do. So if you understand Ohm's law, you understand your batteries, you understand that you need to inspect your equipment prior to using it. You need to keep it clean and those types of things. Mechs are perfectly safe. Unfortunately, the sensationalism of what the media loves to report is a vape pen blew up. Okay, so cigarette lights are not blowing up. Well, they can, but they're not. It's somebody who either didn't check the wraps on their battery. Their mech wasn't clean. They put too low of a build, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's causing these issues, and it's mechs are not for a beginner user. They're not.
They're not, and that's why I will review mechs on my channel, is because I don't think that they're good for beginners, to people that are just getting into vaping from smoking. No, you need to learn your own law. Like he said, you need to learn battery safety. You need to learn what you're doing before you can use it.
When I talk to the guys at work that vape, and I start telling them about the FDA and the 10 months and this and that, they ask me, oh crap, what do we do? I said, A, you learn how to DIY, and B, you buy a mech and learn how to use it. Because if all else fails, you can DIY and you can you can safely and use a mech. You're probably going to be okay for quite a while. Because you're still.
Or if you like to use pods, because there are a lot of people that like to use the pod systems. I know a girl right now that I'm good friends with. She will not use anything but the My Blue pod system. She likes it. She's happy with it, and that's what And
Right.
so I think it's going to be one of those things that those are what you're going to see more of. I think in a way, this whole FDA thing and the PPA situation is just another ploy by Big Tobacco just so that they can keep the game. They don't like to compete. Even though I don't think they're completely bad, they don't like to compete with many people.
We kind of said this on Truer Point the other night. Not to promote anything, but the anti-vape is always big tobacco, big tobacco, big tobacco, and I think failed to look at big pharma. And I don't know that this latest push is big tobacco. I think that there's, we know who owns Juul, and if anybody's going to get a PMTA filed quickly, I think it's going to be Juul. And,
well, Juul said so much. They said they already got their application prepared, and they're going to submit it. Imperial with My Blue and RJR with Views have already said the same thing, that they're going to submit their applications fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And so, it's these smaller companies, like I was saying before, that you're going to see a bunch. I think you're going to see a bunch of these smaller companies just disappear. Like Stan Kelly just said, they're just going to start move their operations completely over to the UK and not sell in the US.
Yeah.
I mean, and let's be honest, you're still going to have sites that are not on U.S. shores, like Heaven's Gifts and some of those others that are still going to sell, and basically getting it shipped through customs is going to be on you. And we're kind of seeing that with I know a guy that ordered a Fatality 25. Suddenly got to his door and there was an additional $40 charge for customs charges. So I think there's going to be some risk. I think the websites won't necessarily stop selling to the U.S. or shipping to the U.S. It's just that it's outlawed. It's an outlawed product, and you're gonna take that chance. I think the black
and they're just going to list it on their customs form as something different. They're going to list it as vape equipment. They're going to list it as something like a gift or
electronics,
decoration, or something of that nature is what they're going to start shipping to the U.S. as.
Electronic devices. A lot of the stuff I buy online, it'll say like on the label, it'll say like what the product is, and it doesn't say vape product or e-cig product. Right. It says like electronic device or.
Right. Well, like when I ordered the Unimax 22, I ordered it from a Chinese company, and when they shipped it here, I looked at the customs label. It said it was a power bank. Not an e-cig, a power bank.
In all retrospect, the mod is a power bank. It's just used for something it's used for something different than charging your phone.
Right.
It's just I guess you can call it a clusterfuck right now. But
it is. But I think people are exaggerating it way too much. I do not think it's going to be the knife to the throat of vaping. I think it's all going to work out in the end. And I do expect it to be contested in court, probably by quite a few people. So.
Right. Well, I mean, the FDA had a chance to file an appeal and chose not to. So I think unless there's some sort of push from Health and Human Services or somewhere else, I don't think that's going to be it's going to force an appeal. Whether some of these companies get together and try and force the appeal, I mean, I don't know what they would appeal on the grounds of. I mean, they've had since 2016 to get these PMCAs started, and they haven't, because while there was regulation, there wasn't a whole lot of enforcement. I think that enforcement, if nobody does anything, that enforcement's going to tenfold.
This is basically going to be the vape version of Avengers Infinity War. When Thanos snaps his fingers, we want to see what's left, I guess.
Right. We're going to see what's left, who's standing in the shadows, or when all the dust clears, who's standing out there. And but another thing too is that everybody is complaining about this, but I also see one good bright side, and I don't like to kick people when they're down. And so don't think of this as I'm kicking someone when they're down, but it keeps situations like a door from happening. there's the facility situation. It keeps that type of, because then they do have to submit the paperwork. They will have to start taking the business more seriously, and we'll have to make sure there are safety precautions and health. They're looking at what they're doing. I think that's a good thing that will come from this.
And Jared just popped in chat. Well, he's been in chat, but he said, not just chose not to appeal, but actually embraced the timeline. That's that started under the last commissioner, and I don't know that the new one has done anything to steer away from that. So,
right.
To be honest, when it comes to the government, guys like Gottlieb or the new commissioner, they're just the people there to take the fall if anything bad happens. They're not the ones truly, in my opinion, are not the ones truly at the reins.
Well, and everyone wants to blame the left. They want to blame the right. This is not a political problem. It's everyone's problem because they're paying all these people off equally. They're not just paying one person to do something. They're paying everybody. So,
outwardly,
obvious all that.
Yeah, well, outwardly it looks political because a lot of the push you see for banning flavors and those types of things. I mean, let's look at San Francisco, an extremely liberal place.
Right.
They were the first to ban any type of sales within the city limits. And when an area or a state is known to be lean that way, and then they do something like this, it adds to, this is a political aspect, and this is, you don't see, I don't see a lot of Republicans put their names on bills to ban flavors or ban devices or ban this or that. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen. They may absolutely do it depending on their constituency, but you see it a lot more from the Dem side, especially in California, because there's been a couple different bills that have been up to the state that they want a statewide flavor ban, or they want a statewide this or statewide that. And then you have somebody like San Francisco, where Juul is located, just outright ban the sale of everything, but you can drive across the bridge and go get your vape. So you still get cigarettes in San Francisco, so there you
go.
Yeah. And your heroin deals.
And I don't see anybody's signature on any bill that's going to actually protect vaping.
No.
No.
Well, there was... We'll say there was one that was somewhat... Yeah. I'm not going to speak on it because I can't remember what it was.
Jared just said Sharpless released a statement in regards to the judgment saying they weren't going to appeal as they see it as a reasonable timeline, which is...
Well, I mean, the FDA has been saying you need to get your PMTAs done for a while. I mean, not 10 months. They've been saying it for years. Not that I like the FDA, because I can't believe they approve something like Chantix, but yet they're going this hard after vaping. That to me is mind-boggling. But they've been saying it for years, and companies, vaping is the Wild West. Mm-hmm. Nobody was really paying attention. Basically the middle finger to the FDA, and now the FDA's, here we go. Watch this.
Yeah, that's a hold my beer. That's a hold my beer moment right now. That's what's going on. FDA said hold my beer, and yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Donnie, and we'll go back to the political aspect. He said Las Vegas never had a tax on the table, and they turned blue last November and already passed a 30% wholesale tax.
Shit.
So it may not be political, but it sure hell looks that way.
Yeah.
You bet Nevada, not Las Vegas.
Well, the one good thing is I live in a state where there's no legislation for any kind of vaping. So that's good.
Yeah, where I live, it seems to be pretty quiet here where I live. The only thing that's really changed, the only thing that's really been done is a lot of cities and towns have just bumped up the tobacco age from 18 to 21.
Right.
Yeah,
but
you're seeing that coming out.
Walmart did it on their own too.
Yeah, as far as bans or raising taxes, none of that's really happened here yet. But that's why that's why I can't really get into the whole political debate of this whole thing, is because everybody talks about what's going on in their states, but my state has been very quiet.
Right.
Well, yeah, and that's that's just human nature. You're very much worried about yourself and your rights, and you tend to forget about there's an attack across the U.S. and we see it a lot. I see it in my social media feeds all the time. California, 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 and then I'll hear about, oh hey, Vermont did this or Maine did this, or I'm like, oh, I didn't even know about that.
Yep, Jared just said Missouri has left it to each jurisdiction in regards to regulation. I love this state.
It's kind of what California did with weed.
It's
But like you said, they've had so many years to get this done, and they just sat on their hands and did nothing.
pretty much, which is
Yeah. And from a business standpoint, I mean, we know that the PMTAs cost a lot of money to get done, and not because the government's charging them, just for the science behind it. I'm a business owner. I'm looking at, they're not really pushing it. Number one, I'd probably have a little bit more forethought. If I had the money in the bank and I knew that this was coming, I probably would have done it, a while ago. But I think they're all kind of waiting to see, how it's going to go too, and then try to get, the equivalent applied to their juice. So if somebody gets, a 369 through the PMTA process, they could probably see a whole bunch more that will actually apply under the equivalent, depending on how that's applied. But nobody
Down zero.
Yeah, well, I heard zero wasn't. Yeah, that was a loophole that they're going to close. I don't know that to be sure, but I heard zero was in there too.
Oh, zero was in there too?
Yeah.
What about concentrates? Are they in there as well or no?
Well, see, most concentrates are, from what I understand about DIY, is it's candy flavoring basically.
yeah,
Right.
it's a lot of times it's PG based candy flavoring.
Right.
So that'll be interesting. And nobody wants to be the first in line to get their PMTA just ripped to shreds. So I think they're all kind of sitting back, kind of waiting to see what happens. But if we do that for 10 months, we're all screwed. So
Right.
somebody has to be the first one out of the boat.
Right.
Earlier in chat, one True Texan said about big name juice companies will survive, but the smaller companies will have to join forces.
Probably.
And I think Golub actually he said something about that in one of his social media comments. He was talking about, I think it was either the biotech firms or something, where there was a rule that they allowed them to kind of all join forces for the same type of issue to get something through FDA approval. And he made mention of maybe that's an option. That's after he already went to work for a pharmaceutical company. So
Pfizer.
why didn't you mention this when you were as the commissioner? Anyway, it's things like that. But okay, great. Why didn't you do something about it when you could?
Right.
Anyway, I'll get off my preaching bandwagon now.
All right, Jared, you have a good night, bud. But I think at this point, we as I guess we can call ourselves, like you, Roberto, St. Cali, myself, and a bunch of other people. I guess we can call ourselves activists, or at least enthusiasts in a way.
Right.
But I think now I think we've all done what we can do at this point. Just I guess now all we can do is just sit back and see what happens. I guess.
Do you think there's any like I mentioned this last week in one of my videos, but do you guys think there's anything like CASA or any of these other regulation groups could do, or activist groups can do? Or do you think that's pretty much done? Like it's completely through?
Well, anytime there's you talk about activism, or you talk about these different types of organizations, it really takes. It's not just the organization; it takes the membership to kind of push it, and and get things done. I don't know exactly what, other than, going after them legally, but I don't know that they have a foot to stand on at this point, because this requirement has been in the regulations for so long.
Right. It's been in the works.
So it's hard to actually go and say, hey, no, we don't think this is right, we're going to sue you for it. Yet, this has been a thing for a minute. So it would be interesting to watch them, get their asses kicked in court. But, again, and vapors are so divided. I mean, they're so worried about their own states and different things, and getting them all together and on the same the same plan is it's a monstrous piece of work, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended, I guess.
Well, and
No, that was an actual pun that was intended. So there you go.
well, in 10 months, everybody enjoy the dollar E2s, because companies are going to be trying, or stores are going to be trying to offload that crap like you wouldn't believe.
Well, I feel like big companies like let's look at hardware manufacturers. So we got Aspire, we got Geek Vape, Vandy Vape. Who else do we have? We have Wismec, Smoke, Tegeli. The big names, like what Juan said. The big names, I think, will survive.
Right.
It's like the smaller companies, like St. Kelly was talking about, like Times Vape, a smaller company. I'm not saying Times Vape. I think Dot Mod, I think is considered a small company. Possibly. Now I know I say this, and now Jay Hayes is probably going to be ranting about me, but
they'll survive if they play the game. I mean, the rules are set.
Yeah.
My concern is more about some of these companies like Purge or Entity, or some of these that actually make really high quality products.
Right.
But they're obviously much smaller than Wismec or Otofo or any of the rest of them, which I don't know what the consumer base for Purge is. I don't know if it's mostly US, if it's UK US. I'm not sure. I don't know if they have the distribution channels like some of these Chinese companies do that can actually shift their focus to Europe or to New Zealand or Australia for what it's worth, because I'm not sure where we're at in Australia. I know that South Australia was kind of screwed for a minute. But they had some change in political ideals, so I don't know if they're any better off.
Mm-hmm.
You may see them go by the wayside.
So Matt, if in 10 months the only thing that you can get your hands on is a pod system, you going to use it?
Matt's gonna learn to use Mix real quick.
Yeah.
To be honest, I love vaping the high powered stuff, but I'm gonna do whatever it takes to keep me away from cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
And sad to say, whether you hate me or not for me saying this, but if vaping were ever to go away completely here in the U.S. and there's no way to get them, well, I'll still be around. I'll just change my vaping channel to a gaming channel.
Oh, dude, I don't think vaping will ever disappear completely. There's too
but I'm
much.
just saying, the chances of vaping going away are
Slim.
Are slim. They're still it's slim, even with what we're going through right now. Yeah, it's still very, very slim. But just that sheer chance. There's still that.
Well, we know that prohibition hasn't worked in the past. I mean, there's been prohibition on multiple classes of drugs forever. During the actual prohibition of alcohol, it was still readily available. So I don't know that it'll go away completely. It's just that it'll be one of those things that's completely black market, maybe. I don't know.
I remember one of Jared's It Is What It Is vlogs. He said it's either on that or it was on the Vape Show with Ken and Michelle. One of the two. He said, and I do agree with him on this, he did say that eventually the government is going to realize that this does help people. I think at this point, they need to find the proper way to regulate it. Because I think we all would agree that some regulation do need to be in effect, but not as way out there and overboard as what they're doing right now.
But you have to think about it too, Matt. The Royal College is also the same people that told us that cigarettes cause cancer 20 years before the U.S. finally came out and said, yeah, it does cause cancer.
Yeah, but you just saw and that's the problem with the government trying to figure this out. You see an organization like the American Lung Association who came out and basically said that, the Royal College of Physicians was basically what they say was junk science. So how do you get the American Lung Association, who supposedly is all about lung health and a few other things? Obviously, yes, we know this isn't the most healthy thing we can do. The best thing we can do is just stop.
Right.
It's harm reduction. It's not
harmless.
Yes. So, when you have these organizations like the Lung Association come out and say the Royal College of Physicians isn't what the fuck they're talking about. Sorry. It's hard to kind of stomach that because they were light years ahead of everybody else. So and even with all of the UK's TPD requirements and everything else, I mean, just the push that the government is with being tobacco free, basically being combustible tobacco free.
Well, with the way I've been seeing it, from what I heard from watching Vaping with Vic, he said, from what I gathered from his WhatsApp vlog, from what I believe is that the UK has a more social healthcare system.
Right.
And Canada is, I believe, also social. And that's where the government pays for your healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird how the countries that have that sort of healthcare system are the ones pushing for vaping. So what does that tell you, people?
So we have to elect Bernie Sanders to keep vaping? Is that the two choices? Damn it. Yeah, and that's a good point. The government's very, very much about costs. And if they see their costs are extremely high due to tobacco use, maybe that would change. So go Bernie. I don't know.
Oh, Kimmy just finished making dinner. Did it say Stouffer's on the box, Kimmy?
I was gonna say that, but I want to be nice. Please.
If I don't pick fun, and St. Cali, me and him have known each other for quite some time now, and he knows that I like to poke fun at people, and if I don't poke fun at you, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all kind of that way. I mean, you almost have to be in this community. You got to be able to take it as much as you can give it, so to speak.
Right.
I'm waiting for Kimmy to comment and to say "fuck you, monster." I'm just waiting for that comment.
Just screen capture it and send it to Truckin'. That'll be a 4-hour live show.
Oh man. TKATs back in chat. What's she saying?
She's talking about the Canadian healthcare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, TKAT. Sorry, I got that mixed up. Thank you for the correction.
See, Kimmy was smart about it. She had 6 hungry teenagers, and she made spaghetti, which is it's about 5.5 cents a pound for spaghetti. So that's on the cheap way when you have to feed a lot of people. I don't blame her.
I don't either.
Okay, yeah. TKAT says we pay in our taxes for our health care, GST and HST. Okay, I was wrong. When I'm wrong, I'm not afraid to admit it. I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
This fucking Kimmy.
What did Kimmy say?
No Stovers tonight. Made a big pot of spaghetti. Well, you can still buy spaghetti frozen, Kimmy.
Nah, I believe she made the big pot of spaghetti. Come on now. That'd be a lot of spaghetti to cook for a bunch of teenagers. That'd be too many boxes. That microwave would blow up in her face.
There'll be on the local Georgia news station. There'll be a article on TV. Local resident's microwave blows up while trying to microwave 600 boxes of spaghetti. Authorities have this to say.
Or you see Kimmy that she looks like the coyote, burn marks all over the place, hair all up in the air.
I am gonna be hearing it from Kimmy. I can just picture the Facebook PMs right now.
Yeah.
Okay, TKAT says reason why we're trying to push for vaping is because it's another leisure and it's beneficial for us, whereas cigarettes are leisure but harmful.
Right. And it goes back to what you were saying. The best thing to do is to quit everything. Don't smoke, don't vape. But if you're a smoker, it's a funny thing that the U.S. government wants to sit there and ban the one thing that has helped most adult smokers quit, and it has. And then they want to still legalize smoking or tobacco products. They don't care about Marlboro, Winston, any of those guys.
Well, I remember you said something, St. Kelly. I can't remember if it was on Trigger Point with Willow or if it was on the Nurse Vapes stream you were on that one time. But you said here in the U.S. there's money in the treatment, but not the cure.
Right. There's a lot of people have said that the treatment is not the cure. It's definitely, or the money is definitely not in the cure. It's in the treatment, and that goes with 90% of what Big Pharma is about. It's they don't make this medicine necessarily to cure you. They make it to treat the symptoms, so to speak.
Cancer is a moneymaker.
Yeah, I think one round of treatment for cancer is like a couple $100,000. If
my dad went through it, yeah. It's about $115,000
per round of treatment, right?
Right.
And you go through how many rounds of treatment?
It was about 8 weeks worth.
So that was
just like when he was on dialysis. Dialysis was $999,000 a month.
Shit.
Yep. Not $99,000 a month. $999,000 a month.
Basically a million a month.
Yeah, you might as well just round it up to $1 million a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy how much money they make off these treatments, dude.
Oh yeah. It's like when my son was first born, he was in Children's Mercy for a month, and thank God my insurance paid for all of it, but I didn't hardly see any doctors. Like I barely saw. They had like a team that would come around like twice a day, and like they just like talk about like his basically all his stats for the day. It was $160,000 just for that.
Yeah, about 2-3 months ago, I went in for blood testing for a gene of cancer, because my dad went through the early stages of colon cancer, and so they wanted to test me out. Just the blood test alone, this will pull out 2 little vials of blood out of me, $1,600.
Mm-hmm. A friend of mine, their daughter has a rare type of blood cancer, where it's the opposite of leukemia. Instead of not producing enough red blood cells, she produces too much. So she has to get shots on a regular basis to try to get that under control. It costs $5,800 a shot.
Ridiculous.
Mhm.
Yeah, the government don't want us healthy.
Mhm.
I mean, seriously, the government complains about the amount of obesity in this country, but at the same time, it's like, okay, then why does it cost $5 to get you a little cup of fruit at your local grocery store, but a box of Twinkies is $2?
Or if you go to McDonald's, it's $5 for a salad is $1 for a hamburger.
Make it more expensive to be healthy.
Mhm.
Sure.
I've always said this: if only our founding fathers to see us now, they'd be rolling over in their grave. They wouldn't just be rolling in our graves; they'd be doing the death roll of an alligator.
Oh, dude, it's retarded. I mean, you know, we got away from England because we were paying too much taxes, and what happens? 200 years later, we're not paying more taxes than they did to England.
Fucking Kimmy. She says,
We're
and I
taxed
quote.
fucking death.
She said, and I quote: "You could say that they drain you dry at that price." God damn it, Kimmy. Oh, fuck. But, man.
Well, yeah, it's like when I go up here to Rex Hospital, the place where you go get your blood work done. Okay, on the wall in the hallway that goes up there, they have a big picture of Count Dracula. I'm like, that's quite right. They did it as a joke, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
you know,
but it's hard for me to go get blood drawn, you know, whether for testing or just to get blood drawn to keep my, you know, to refresh my records.
mhm.
I don't, and due to me being a larger individual, me being overweight and just being overall just big, those little butterfly needles can't go deep enough to find a vein. Like they usually go like in your arm, like just above your elbow into the end of your bicep.
Mhm.
They have to go in through my hand.
Yeah.
Now this don't hurt. This don't hurt at all. When they go in like right here or right here, it usually don't hurt that much. But you go into here next to a bone, holy fuck.
I remember I had to get antibiotics one time as I had a bad case of tonsillitis, and so you know I go into urgent care, and we had evidently training day for some of the nurses that are about to become nurses, and I watched her stick the needle in my hand and move it around because she didn't hit the vein. So I could see the needle moving around in my hand. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pass out. I mean, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like you're turning a little bit white. I go, yeah, just please pull that out. You know, it's not like I have these huge meat hands. I can see my veins. I could have hit it. Just give me the needle. Yeah, it's.
Well, when I was in the hospital doing a procedure to get checked for any possible sign of colon cancer, they have to put the big needle in you for the IV. And
Oh yeah.
they were able to find a vein in my arm, but they had to go in through one of the big ones, like one of the actual arteries, because it was the closest up to the surface. And when the nurse put that needle in, they didn't quite have the tube in yet. Next thing I know, blood squirted all over my nurse.
Mhm.
Of course, the sight of blood don't make me squeamish. Having a needle in my arm don't make me squeamish. Hell, I've had a gash in my head where if you spread it apart, you can almost see my skull. That stuff don't faze me. But
Needle, but a needle does. You don't like shots.
I don't mind needles.
Mm-hmm.
I like needles. Which is funny because I got that tattoo and then the one on my back.
It feels good to be back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Matt, you laugh about the squirting the aerosol with the fish, but you also have to think about, since, you know, DNA has to deal with stuff like that, that's what they look at it from their point of view, to where they don't know your blood, so they have your blood squirting all over them.
Well, and the worst part was it was done early. It had to be done early in the morning, and I work nights. Now keep in mind we get off sometime, but we get off between the times of 4 o'clock in the morning or 4:42 in the morning. This shit had to be done at 6:30 in the morning. So I got no sleep that day, and by the time they got me into the back room, I was already so exhausted that my body was struggling just to stay awake. So my heart was pounding faster to get more blood throughout my body, more oxygen. You ever got You ever got to that level of exhaustion where your heart starts to pound harder because it's trying to stay awake?
Yeah. Every year.
Well, let's just say that's what caused the blood to shoot out, was because my blood pressure was so damn high.
Every weekend starting March 15th to the end of April when snagging season ends. Or at least Saturday morning when we get off work. Go snagging all day.
But alright guys, it's almost 8 o'clock, so I'm going to end the stream right here. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Thank you for St. Cali, Roberto, and Nate the Vaping Rider for coming on the panel. I appreciate you guys. Everybody who tuned in to watch, thank you so much for watching. And also, I almost forgot to mention, but I have officially passed my 300 subscriber mark. So I'll be working, so me, TKAT, Spike, and Salad will be working on a giveaway, which will be done through a Dysfunctional Family Show. So that should be coming hopefully in the next few weeks, because we need time to get it. We need time to get it all together. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure.
And I will be back here for you too, Monster. Not next weekend, but in 2 weeks. Basically, in 2 weeks, I'll be back. I'm actually taking a hiatus myself. So. But I'll be coming back on your show after that.
But hey, sometimes you need to take a break, just to kind of refresh the brain. But go check out Roberto. He also does reviews. Go check out Nate the Vaping Rider. Give him some love and some help for stuff to review. Go check out St. Cali Vapor, whether on his channel or on Trigger Point. Actually, a pretty good show. But thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, until next time, Monster Man Vapes signing off.